My M41 wife, f37, became a different person since she got a good job. I just want to preface this that I am not against her working, but I feel she is slowly becoming a different person than the one I fell in love with. We have a healthy and open communication, and she made it clear she is happy about herself now and doesn't want to get back to her old self. For background, I am 41 male, and she's 37 female, and we've been married for 17 years. To get the full picture, I think some history is needed. Shortly after she got her bachelor's degree, we started to plan a family and had our first kid. We both agreed that she didn't need to look for a job since mine was enough to provide while she can take care of the kid. On the side, she did volunteer work, then later arts and crafts, earning about $1.2K per month, and we had 2 more kids. As described by colleagues and beneficiaries of her volunteer work, she was the most selfless and angelic person they met. In 2016, we got our first home, and I can still cover payments while having a good buffer for other things including leisure travel. I thought our life was perfect, and so did she. Shortly after we moved into the new house, she expressed to me that she wants to get back to the job market, and while I stressed that we do not need the extra income, I was supportive because this is what she wanted. Since it was more than 10 years since she graduated, we decided the best way to get back is to have a master's degree and complete important courses and certifications. During this time, I was partially covering the cost, the other part was a student loan, and supporting emotionally and with the kids and chores. After finishing her degree, she took a part-time job and had to leave the voluntary work. Shortly after, COVID hit and she was stuck at this job for a while. Income from this job went to pay off the student loan. Now the real change came in the beginning of 2022 when she got her first real full-time job, which is fit for her qualifications. We were elated that she was being appreciated, but that came with some night shifts and inflexible working hours, which meant we had less time together and with the kids. We had to hire a nanny and a housemaid to make up for the hours she's not around. Since starting this job, she asked me if she can have her salary for herself for a couple of months because this is the first time ever that she can indulge herself and her mother and close friends and relatives to much-needed treats. The money mostly went to luxury shopping, a couple of plastic surgeries, and some trips with her girlfriends. These were discussed, but I often end up conceding because she needed to feel good about herself and her body. It's been 18 months, and every time I ask to have a shared account, she's still a couple of months away from fulfilling her bucket list. All of this while, I had to give up having any savings to cover for the extra hands with the kids and around the house. Moreover, when she's finally home, she's glued to social media, mostly following luxury brands' accounts and useless influencers, something we both used to consider shallow and a waste of time. As part of her obsession with her body image, she has to dress up every time we go out and every time she goes to work, and she's demanding the same from me. Also, she started to go daily to the gym, which I was happy about. But she takes it to the extreme as it became a priority that she cannot change her training schedule even on the weekend. Admittedly, this reflected on a better sex life as she's initiating way more, although it now has much more focus on her pleasure. But what I discovered this week was the main reason I am writing this post. She got a new phone and asked for my help with the setup, and I saw some messages from Coach Laura. I was surprised because she never told me she hired a personal coach, so I was curious and opened their conversation. Needless to say, this was a man, and I was immediately suspicious. Why would she name him as a girl? Their conversation didn't have anything to indicate cheating, but she sent him a couple of times body progress pictures stressing on her curves, and he would respond with compliments and a dozen heart emojis. In other occasions, she wanted to skip some training days when we wanted to take the kids out, but he was encouraging her not to as it would disturb their training regime. She listened to him. I was livid at this point and confronted her why she would hide this fact from me and why she thought it is okay to send these types of pictures to him, and she said that she needed validation from an expert. I told her that her obsession with her body image made her cross the line, and I am not okay with this, for which she was crying and apologized. We ended the conversation by her promising to change the gym and to hire a female coach, which she already did. In our last conversation, it was clear to me that we want different things. I was happy with our old lifestyle, but she claims that she sacrificed a lot to make that work. I admit she did, but she never complained about it before until now. She is surprised why I cannot be happy about her feeling good about herself, and she is entitled to this lifestyle after being very low maintenance all those years, and explained that her job needs a strong personality to survive, leading to this transformation. I told her that I would be happy if there would be balance between that and other aspects of our life like family and finances, and gave her a deadline to start contributing financially, and that we need to figure out more quality time for the family and kids. I don't know where to go with this post, and I don't know where to go from here, as I feel this is not the same person I agreed to marry and spend the rest of my life with. How can a person turn from very selfless to the definition of self-centered? I am constantly questioning myself where I went wrong. Am I not supposed to be supportive of my wife getting her dream job and feeling better about herself? Or is all of this stemming from my insecurity about her becoming an independent person? I am thinking about leaving every day, but I cannot stand not seeing my kids every day and not sure if I could find a better partner, so I feel my only choice is to learn to love this new person. Let me get this right. She's starting to get fit and hot now that she has money, and she's hiding men from you. The writing is on the wall. The fact that she disguised a man in her phone under a female name is a major red flag emo. Also, I don't think you went wrong anywhere. She just had a career change and it obviously became a life change. Supporting her is great, but being low maintenance for several years, as she describes, doesn't justify self-entitlement. People in general should always try to improve their day-to-day lives, but if it is sacrificing family time to this extent, there really needs to be a balance. Well, that's why 20-yo shouldn't get married. The life you describes as perfect to me, it's a nightmare, and maybe for her too. Popping babies out with no work achievements, no shit, she wants a change. She's cheating on you, buddy. Start protecting yourself. Get a lawyer and a pie if you want to know the truth. She now has the means to live out her 20s, plain and simple. Might be a phase. Cheated on during bachelor trip F20 and M23. Any advice is helpful. I'll try to keep this short. My boyfriend and I met at a USA university February 2022. We have been dating 14 months. I moved down 800 miles away from home to take an internship in his home city this summer. He has an intense high-stress 14-hour workday 6 days a week job. The only benefit is he's paid well. Not a huge benefit for me, as I don't ask for much from him, it's his money. My boyfriend is usually caring, well-mannered, very intelligent, has only had one XGF. Cons. My boyfriend has a drinking problem and has had since I met him, which is made worse by his male family members he tries to keep up with. In sum, his brother's bachelor party was this past weekend out of the country. My BF, his dad, brothers, and friends. My only text the first night was a reminder of no strip clubs. While I trusted my BF, he does drink a lot, especially around other guys. My boyfriend not only went to a strip club on the trip, but on the second night he got very drunk at a bar. In his words, he very drunkenly struck up a conversation with a random girl at the bar. They danced to club music together, grinding. He took her into a single bathroom, locked the door, made out with her, felt her up and down including her breasts, and exposed himself. He claims it ended there because the girl said she was a virgin and did not want to do anything more. He says they made out another few minutes and she made an excuse to leave to go find her sister to make sure her sister was still at the bar. And he never saw her again, nor did he get her contact info. He said he was very ashamed and went home, and his brothers asked if he kissed that girl. He told them yes, and his brothers said that was bad, but they slightly defended his behavior. The complexity is that my boyfriend and I have had a rocky patch this summer with some fighting and frustration. His brothers caught on to this and said that since I had shown frustration and talked to my boyfriend disrespectfully before, that they understand where he's coming from. Despite these issues in our relationship, I never neglected him romantically, and I showed love actions like buying our groceries, cooking, and packing his lunch daily. I only know this story because he felt guilty and told me the truth, in bits and pieces. At first he only told me about the kiss. Over a couple hours he finally told me the whole story. Nobody else told me. Never in a million years did I think my boyfriend was this kind of guy. He's never shown any cheating tendency, nor does he use much social media or any red flags. He has only been with 2 women before me. These were partial reasons I chose to date him. For full context, when we started dating, many people were shocked because I am, out of his league, looks wise and 3 years younger. But I never listened to them because looks fade anyways and intelligence, genuine connection doesn't. I'm sad to have to admit that their reservations may have been correct. I am so lost on what to do and very embarrassed. My heart is in pieces as we had talked about the future. How many kids, ideal honeymoon places. and I almost gave up my law school dream to just use my finance degree at a company in his home city. He told me how sorry he is and ashamed and how he wishes he could take it all back and how he has depression from his 80-90 hour a week job, our recent fighting this summer, and a drinking problem. His mother also does not approve of our relationship since he is her favorite, so that's another strain. I know he would never do this sober to me. He keeps texting me apologizing and trying to get me to talk to him. Someone highly intelligent should know better, right? It took him 4 days to tell me what happened, one day after he got back. I'd appreciate any insight or advice from those older and wiser than me. Update. Since I wrote the first draft, he sent me flowers this evening with a note saying, "I'm sorry for everything and that I haven't been better. I have and do love you. You deserve a million flowers." He has not sent me any flowers, chocolates for the past 9 months of our relationship. He missed Valentine's Day this year. He said it was due to work, he was busy and forgot. I complained about this a few weeks ago, but he took no action until now. Anyways, due to all of your advice, I gave away these flowers to the neighbors. Thank you. He may as well has gone all the way because he only stopped because she insisted. He was all in to fully cheat on you, op. He admitted that to you already. It's time to end the relationship. You can't trust him anymore and his behaviors will only cause further pain. He has many problems he needs to figure out. All make it impossible to have a healthy relationship. You're 20 years old. You shouldn't be getting married anyway. And especially do not marry a cheater with an alcohol problem. You are setting yourself up for a lifetime of misery. Break up, go home. Focus on what you want. And don't move across the country for some dude. Make your own life. Send him back to the bar where he belongs. This is the best you will ever see of him. Let that sink in, and then walk away. My 33F partner, 31M, of 9 years has not proposed but has had a ring for 3 years. Too long did not read. My partner has had an engagement ring for 3 years and hasn't proposed, and he can't tell me why not. Is there a better way to talk to him about his inability, unwillingness to propose? Background. We met in college and became friends, then roommates in a house full of friends, and then we both fell for each other. We have known each other for 12 years and have been seriously dating for 9. He graduated undergrad before I graduated with my master's. We then did distance for 2 years before he moved to my state to be with me. We have been living together and exclusive ever since. Here is where things get a little confusing for me. 3 years ago my partner was talking with my father and made it clear he wants to marry me and plans to propose and wanted my father's blessing. This wasn't required. He knew it would mean a lot to me if he talked to my dad beforehand. My dad was overjoyed. He views my partner as a sil already and told my partner he didn't need to tell him, but my dad felt touched that he did anyways. I was somewhat aware of when this conversation happened and my partner told me how it went afterwards. I told him that I'm excited, promised him I will always say yes, and can't wait for him to propose. My partner and I have combined our finances for years. I help manage our budget, savings, etc. I am typically aware of major expenses that happen. Around 2.5 years ago I was forewarned by my partner to look at our finances a little less lovingly, which I pretty quickly put together that he had bought an engagement ring. I was ridiculously excited and respected his wishes, thinking a surprise was right around the corner. Over the next few months I was budgeting and did verify that he did in fact buy an engagement ring. Since then I have also seen the ring box. He keeps it hidden in his desk. I have seen the ring box in his carry-on bag on over a dozen trips we have taken together over that time. We have been to Paris, traveling to multiple states. I have planned solo hikes where we are alone together, etc. etc. I have done my best to provide opportunities for him to propose, to no such luck. Last year I was feeling particularly down and brought it up to him that I'm surprised he hasn't proposed. I'm not trying to pressure him if he's not ready, but he needs to communicate that if he isn't. He has reassured me that he very much wants to get married and be engaged. I pushed him a little more because everyone in our extended families know that he has a ring and that he's planning to propose, so I get questions regularly on when he's going to propose. IDK, I would love to know. I have talked with him about how I don't need a big proposal and that I would be over the moon if he even proposed on the living room couch in our PJs. He knows I was being serious about this. I just want us to be together. I have also had a conversation with him where I tried to very gently explore if he just doesn't want to marry. I love us and I'm also open to a discussion if he doesn't want to marry but wants to be together. He's reassured me over the past 2 years that's not the case. When I did ask him why he hasn't proposed yet, he says, almost verbatim, he doesn't know why and doesn't have a good reason. I try my best not to bring it up because I worry that it stresses him out and that's why he hasn't proposed, and I'm not sure what I can do to help with that. More recently, a few friends and family have asked if there is something wrong regarding why he hasn't proposed, and I'm not sure what to tell them. Everything I can figure is that things are great with our relationship. He says so too, and he just hasn't yet. I'm not sure if this is a big red flag I'm missing or if I just need to be patient. I could use advice if there is a way to discuss this with him that I'm missing. Is there a better way to bring up my disappointment in him not proposing yet? Oh my God, you are exhausting me with this. I tried very gently. I try my best not to bring it up. I'm not trying to pressure him, like, fucking get mad at him already. 3 years of your life. Fuck. He does not want to marry you. 9 years and has had the ring for 3? He's stringing you along. Seriously? Take it off the table. Tell him you're humiliated and no longer willing to say yes. You can continue to date and revisit in a year when he's had some time to figure out what his goddamn problem is. Is he like this in other areas of his life? Big plans but zero execution? Also, he used joint funds for the ring. So you essentially paid for a portion of your ring, so he didn't really feel the brunt of it financially. That would bother me. Husband, 38M, keeps secret friend from me, 34F. Writing on a throwaway since he knows my Reddit handle. When my husband, married 6 years, together for 9, and I first started dating, everything was wonderful, as I'm sure it always is. A few years into the relationship I felt like something was off. He just wasn't as emotionally available as he once was, wasn't prioritizing our relationship as he had, etc. I chalked it up to some family stuff he had going on, but I just couldn't shake the feeling. We moved in together and that didn't relieve the stress either. One night, I had a nightmare about him cheating and I decided it was time to go snooping. Lo and behold, he had been having an emotional affair with his ex and had even been out to visit her a few times when he was on a family vacation. We went to therapy and after many hard years of work, I finally began to trust him again. A few months ago, he started going out with a new group friends, mostly people he works with. This was a huge deal because he's super introverted. It was casual stuff, like getting drinks at a local bar after work, and I strongly encouraged him. This is a fairly new group of friends, so when I asked if I could come meet them, he said he wanted to make a good impression first, and that I could meet them at a later time. At first, he was home by 9-10ish, but more recently it's gotten later and later, like midnight on a Tuesday. He seemed so much happier than he had been and I didn't want to make him uncomfortable or unhappy, so I went with it. Last weekend, I was home ill and he wanted to go out to see a baseball game with his friends. I told him that was fine, I was just going to be laying around in bed. He texted me at about 10:30 and asked if I was okay if he went and grabbed a drink or two after the game. Sure, I said. No problem. I texted him at midnight to see where he was because I was getting worried. No response. I texted him again at 1 a.m. to see where he was. No response. I pulled up a GPS app he set up in case he was hurt or something and I could see that he was going to a residential area, but not a place that I'm familiar with. Finally at 3 a.m. he rolls through the door. In the morning, he came clean that he had been spending time with a new friend, who is single and in her 20s. He had lied and manipulated me at various times throughout the last month so he could see her, and they had been texting multiple times per day because they have so much in common. That night, she had made a move on him, despite knowing he was married, which he claims to have rebuffed. He wanted to walk her home to make sure they could still stay friends and she wasn't upset with him, and ignored my texts because it was rude to look at his phone while they were talking. He claims to have never entered her apartment and that it took 20 minutes to get an Uber. I'm absolutely gobsmacked that I'm back in a similar position to where I was several years ago. He wants to go through couples counseling and make our marriage work. He claims that he didn't tell me about this girl because I'm scary and I don't want him to have friends. Additionally, I work long hours and he says I'm virtually unavailable for him to spend time with. For reference, I was sitting at home watching a movie alone while he was at a baseball game. I feel like he's gaslighting me, blaming me for his choices, and I'm having a tough time figuring out what to do. Do I stay or do I go? Too long did not read. Husband has a friendship he kept secret with a single female. He went out with her multiple times and lied to me about it. This isn't the first time. Do I stay or do I go? Sorry, you're married to a liar and a cheater. He was gaslighting you so hard. I'd take a really long break from him and spend time with good people who aren't shitty liars. Girl, tell him bye. I'm not buying that at all, that's not cool, and it sounds like he's up to his old ways. So it's your fault he lied to you about hanging out with another woman? Sounds like a typical cheater move there. What signals was he sending her that made her feel confident enough to make a move? I'd guess it was from basically dating her secretly. He clearly didn't learn his lesson or change after the last time he cheated on you. I don't think the third time is a charm here. I'd be starting my search for a divorce attorney were I in your position. Girl, you are 2 for 2. Do you want to make it 3? He needs to be fucking for reals. He sucks, and if you let him he will cheat again or has cheated.